you're so pretty, 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 pretty.
Ooh, and welcome back. Welcome. So my movie is over. I went to see Aquaman. My baby had company and she didn't join me. So I went by myself, which is how I, at least 90% of the time, I go by myself. And I really enjoy that. Really. Like most people be like, I like going by myself too because people like to talk during the movie. I am a talker in the movie, okay? I be like, now why did you do that? Why did you? I can own it. It's so, and I had the theater to myself. There was no one else in there but me. I am so sorry. And I'm sleepy yet again. That's the thing. Well, see, but I don't feel like a battery. I don't mind being sleepy because I had fun. But like consecutive nights, consecutive weeks of those nights, consecutive months of me just, kind of checking myself, working like I've been working with no true break, or when I should be breaking and completely being selfish with my time, I find things to fill it and things to do for other people. And truly those things need to be done. Like I have an uncle that tomorrow morning I'm going to make it a priority to contact him since I'm off again from my day job. So I have those 2 or 3 days throughout the week here and there that I can be of use to people who need that time. They need my resources, or they need me just to be a vehicle to take them to their resources. I'm honored to help, especially our elders, especially them. I gave him such a hard time when we were younger. Just, I loved his energy. And when I'm looking back, it was like, what was it? Because it's not like he's crazy, right? Whatever that even means. But he was supposed to be watching us when we were younger. And so the thing is that we couldn't go outside. My parents were so, oh my gosh, they were so protective. I don't like to even think overprotective. Actually, it'd be very fitting, but I don't want to make it seem like they were worried unnecessarily, because they did have every reason to be worried. It's a lot of bad things out there. Bad people, entities, organizations that snatch children up. So, but anyway, the rule is that we couldn't go outside. And this uncle, he had to keep an eye on me and my 2 younger sisters. And we really were good kids. I can put myself in the category with them, even though I see them, I used to and still do see them as just they're better than me. They're better, higher functioning, higher vibrating people than me. There are many reasons that I think that, and I'm happy with that, because I don't mind. I'm that one. That makes me a much more fierce protector. My heart is not, it's soft just like theirs, but not just like theirs, if you know what I mean. And so, but anyway, why was I saying that? That uncle, he had to keep an eye on all 3 of us, and I was so sneaky like Bugs Bunny. I used to love getting out of his sight. Like I would go to the door and just stand in it so he couldn't really say anything, like I'm not really doing anything wrong. And then like when he would get really into his shows, and I'm talking, he is just like sitting on the floor watching his show up against the couch, minding his business, then I would just step out the door, and usually like right on the other side of it where he couldn't see me. I'm not going anywhere. I just wanted to be outside. There used to be so many cute little roly-polies on the floor of the porch. I just love being out there. I didn't want to stay in the house. I didn't want to go outside and play with anyone. Because like me and my sisters, man, we were the dream team. We were fine playing with each other. All the shit we used to play. Pity Patty. Mama taught us how to play Goldfish, Backgammon, or AC Doocy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we were really, really good kids. And then when they came out with the Nintendo, it was done. It was done. So my favorite games, I'm going to go back. Well, we had the Atari also. So let me see. Definitely pole position on the Atari. Joust. And there was this chopper game I used to love. Why is my hand shaking? Because I was telling you earlier, like if I get too excited, it's too high or too low. If I get too happy, like I can get happy, but like that was really filling up my heart, what I was talking about just now. So my hand started to shake. I'm trying to understand anxiety and try to understand myself. But only since COVID, like what was it? What was that disease? Because on my certificate, maybe it's because I was one of the first patients, I don't know, diagnosed here when the city that I live in opened up the clinic at the hospital that I chose to go to. My certificate says disease. This is not coronavirus. Mine says disease. So maybe this is a part of the indicator of that. Because I'm telling you, like if I express so much, but there's so much more that never gets expressed because it's just a lot. I feel a lot, and then some of it is not even mine. If I'm close to someone else and if they're holding something in and they are super excited, I genuinely feel that vibration. I feel it. If they're sad, I feel it. Despite the smile, despite the sense of humor, despite the wit, if you are sad around me, I feel that shit. And I have been around people who obsessively think about sex. Obsessively. I'm pretty balanced there because there's so much, what's that called? Trauma and abuse. So I know my thoughts from someone else's thoughts and what's healthy and makes sense. That is me. That when I'm around someone who, excuse me, maybe has an insatiable appetite. I've been around someone that had a murderous spirit, and I knew it before they did it. And then I talked to a sister. She was a sister in God, and she was a sister by other ways. She is the only other person outside of one of my girlfriend's mothers who is an evangelist who ever used the term murderous spirit. And I didn't even have to ask her, well, what do you mean by that? Because that's what I was thinking that it was. I just hadn't said it and I had never heard it. So, but anyway, except for from those two women, and they are both evangelists. But the COVID has what's left of me, what I've morphed into since. Maybe it's not that I've morphed into it. Maybe it's just that I'm seeing myself more and seeing. It's like some layers of my veil have been pulled back or stretched out. So maybe I am actually seeing and feeling things more clearly. I don't know. But that uncle used to get really, really like, he would come out that screen door, Nika! And we used to laugh so hard. Like, Uncle, I'm right here. He's like, get your butt in the house. Get your butt in the house. And I'm like, yes, sir. And I would come in the house and we would laugh. And he would kind of laugh it off and scratch his head, and he'd go back and sit on the floor and finish watching his shows. Gomer Pyle and all those network TV shows. I used to love watching those shows with him, except for when I was messing with him. I'm looking back now, I know. And he loved me. He loves me. And I love him. And my sisters love him. And all that we were looking at was his love for us. And also maybe just a little bit of his fear of my parents. Like if you lose one of us, okay, you lose one of the little kittens, okay, one of the girls, that just might be your ass. But never mind that, because he's our uncle, and without any threat of his life, I mean, he just wanted to make sure we were where we were supposed to be at. I'm saying we, but because I was the only one that was like having to step out the door. Okay. So but he needs my help now. I got you. So I'll pay him a visit tomorrow. He's so intelligent and real. He'll be like, yeah, that's some bullshit right there. Or he'll be like, yeah, that's good right there. You know, he's expressive. But okay, I'm done talking about him. I'm going to go see him tomorrow. Okay. I'm trying to get these videos uploaded tonight. I have several that I just have not edited. This will be my first night home. So I spent the night over at my sister's house last night, and I loved it. And I'll go back over there tomorrow night. But tonight I am home, where I will be editing and cleaning. More than likely I'll be editing, because by the time I finish cleaning, editing, then I don't know about the rest. Oh my God. Oh my God. What should I do? Shit like that. I forgot that I hit the little button here. My key fob on my key ring to lock me in the car, so the lights would go off. And I just opened the door, hoping I could see the clock so I could tell you guys, yeah. Because it's like, I know it's after 10 o'clock. I don't think it's 11 yet, but I forgot that I locked that door and locked myself up in here, right? And now my neighbors are like, I hate when that heifer come up here. I've been listening to this Egyptian belly dance music. There are like a couple of pieces in there. There are some that have mantras in it, and I enjoy listening to it, and the frequency tuning and chakra tuning. And like when I'm really having a day like today, if I hadn't gone to the movies, I probably would have driven through some of the places that I love to see the most, but these places don't like to see people like me in them. And so I will obnoxiously drive through those places listening to classical music. Our 20s, 30s ragtime. Very loud, like it has zero bass. Yeah. I need to go in the house. That need to stay awake. I be fighting my sleep like a baby. I just don't want to be a battery. I don't want to come home after a hard day's work and go to sleep like if I were in a relationship. He would suffer. My relationship would suffer. Well, if I were in a relationship, I also wouldn't need to have 2 jobs either, because he and I both would have our own, income to support each other and to support our common goal, rather than me doing it all by myself. So, but I am where I am for now. And maybe that's why I am by myself. I never actually feel lonely, like I'm enjoying my solitude, because in a relationship, I allow myself to be completely present. I am that one. I'm going to be like, okay, so we talked before we went to work. We talked at noon. Like, anytime I want to talk to you, I want to talk to you. And anytime you want to talk to me, you can talk to me. If I'm in a meeting, my man calls. It's one finger up to everybody. Excuse me just a moment. And I got no shame. And that's why I be telling like my daughters and my son and other people, like, You got to be careful of who you give your attention and your love and your time to, who you invest in and what you invest in. Because I'm in that group of people that I've, looking back on some of the mistakes that I've made, not that the people that I engaged with, that they were mistakes necessarily, but the way that I allowed myself to show up for them, I should have been more discerning, and I am more discerning now. If you're not speaking that language that suggests what your actions also suggest, I really don't have shit to say to you. You do what you say you're going to do and be where you say you're going to be. And so often, I'm saying so often, I've only had a few boyfriends. So, in those connections that I attempted, I show up completely vulnerable and naked emotionally and mentally and spiritually. I'm not holding against you anything that anyone did or said to me before you, or any of the stereotypes about your kind, your species versus my species and my kind. I show up giving that respect and that consideration and that attention and that time. I make the investment. I treat people how I want to be treated. And so the way I've shown up in my relationships a lot is the helper, the friend, the lover, the lover. I've not met my damn self. Do you hear me? I don't think that I would be smothered by Teneca, another version of myself. Not necessarily as a woman, although women are beautiful. I mean, I'm not into women. I attract women 100 miles an hour. In fact, I attract women more than I won't say I attract women more than I attract men. I want to say the women come at me faster and harder than the men do. From the little felines to the giant men, the actual giants. There's women that are taller than most of the men I know, inside and out. That they shamelessly and boldly step to me like, "What's up?" And I'd be like, "It's a lovely day, isn't it?" He'd be like, "No, well, what's up?" I'm like, "Nothing really. Yeah, I just thought I'd go to the cookie aisle in the store." I get nervous, but I mean, I appreciate that energy. I soft that up too, because it's just admiration. We can admire each other's beauty, but my interest, like the partner that I am, I'm extremely feminine, strong feminine, submissive only to male energy, only to a man. And so I love them, and I see how we fit in every way, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, the chemical changes that happen just from us being depending on what vibration we are when we're in each other's physical space. I don't know that it doesn't happen in same-sex relationships. I don't know a whole lot about that. I like what happens between me and a man. The unspoken, completely involuntary, just that it's an exchange of energy and it's a chemical reaction to one another. I am sensitive to that. So I know right now I'm kind of being tucked away and hidden, and I see myself as being molded. It's funny, I was telling my daughter and my son earlier this week. I'm saying this week, it's just Tuesday. That now I can recognize these cycles. And I am at the very end of one and at the very beginning of yet another. I think I'm not even going to speak that and limit myself or limit whatever's going on. But like the very first that I can remember, because it's everything brand new. It's a brand new set of people and group of people that I am now. Like my world is like what happens every 26,000 years. That's a cycle on this planet. I am at the end of one and the very beginning of another, literally. And the signs of that is nothing will be the same after that. I live in a whole different place. I work or go to school in a whole different place. I'm surrounded by a whole new set of friends with a whole different set of values about them and principles that they live by. Definitely a love interest. I will say also, seemingly, it's not like I'm just transitioning from one cycle to another. Like, it's not just like a smooth thing. This is after a huge tower moment. Maybe I got laid off or fired from a job. Maybe my boyfriend or my husband left me, something like that, or I left, or something like that. Both of those things, the loss of a job or the loss of a relationship, can often inadvertently, it affects other aspects, definitely the financial part of a relationship. So I look up, and because I've lost a job, or I've lost someone who is pulling more than $50,000 and bringing that to the table in a household, then that disrupts my stability and causes me to have to recalibrate and balance myself, to shed some things and to take some new things on. That is literally where I'm at. And so while my head is down, or I'm like the goat, you know, it's a miracle how I'm standing on this mountain, not even necessarily at the top of it. I'm pretty damn high, but I'm scaling the mountain as a goat. There's shit living in the mountain. There's shit trying to crawl up the mountain and get to me. It can smell me. There's stuff flying. There are hawks and vultures flying about trying to get to me and pick the bones off my flesh. But I have brothers and sisters that I'm seeing along the way, that they're in the exact same struggle that I'm in, with the exact same goal, just surviving, climbing higher, trying to survive, trying not to be pushed down the mountain, trying not to be devoured by any of the foe along the way. And that is where I am attracting my partners at. Not after I've accomplished my goal and sitting pretty. It's always when I'm on my way up. And the individuals, the men that I come in contact with ever, it's like they know what I am as soon as they meet me. They know. I mean, despite that, it doesn't mean that they don't know, because they succumb to their temptations and they cheat. And pretty much every last one of them did cheat. The ones that try not to cheat and they think that they do this, I mean, I can't get mad at you. You know, if you saw it coming and you knew that you were not going to be able to resist the temptation, you had an Apollonia in your life. You know what I mean? I see you. You know, I understand. You thought that grass was greener, so you started watering that shit and you bounced. You know, it was what it is. Okay. I am not mad about it. I wasn't then. I'm just like, thank you for letting me know. So back to what I was doing, just back to this mountain by myself. Take off the weight of you. That takes some weight off of me. It also takes some of the support that was holding me up on the mountain, holding us up. Okay, so here I am. If I had it my way, I've been struggling my entire life. My entire life. I'd love to be spoiled and do nothing except for vlog and talk about things that I know that can help other people, just to be a positive influence, a positive reflection of holding steadfast, of tenacity, of bravery, and maintaining principally, morally, sound integrity. I would love to talk. I can talk about that all day long and get other people's stories. I would love to do it. I would love to travel and tour the world. I learned that there was a 365-day cruise. There's a cruise that you can get on that sucker for a whole year. And it takes you to, I think it said 7 or 12 different countries. Like, I can't right now. I mean, I actually could. I can. I'm in a sweet spot right now where I'm at the end of a lease. The lease ends on March the 31st, right? It ends on March the 31st. Well, it's one of those properties where I live at is you have to give a 60-day notice. So if I wanted to leave, I'd have to give them that notice by January the 31st, a 60-day notice. If I want to leave and break the lease or not renew, I have to do it. I have to give a 60-day notice. If I want to transfer to another apartment or townhome or another property here, it's still a 60-day notice, whether I stay or I go. And so, but if I could pull a fairy godmother father being, if I could just sit in the palm, right? Let's eliminate that palm. If I could sit in it, I'd get the king. I'd get the king. I'd get the free time. I'd be spoiled. I'd allow my children to stay in this apartment for another 2 to 3 months because they are the twins. They're 24. They'll be 25 here in the next couple of months. I will free them to do whatever they need to do with their lives. As a few months is plenty enough time to give to you because they haven't actually stepped out in the world themselves. And I'm not trying to force them out or to push them out. It is time though. And we have been talking about it. I always imagine when they graduated high school, I was still married. And I really feel like a rest in peace energy or whenever I even think about my marriage. Because I really did try. I did. Not saying that he didn't. But anyway, when that didn't work out, we were booted out. He told me to leave. And so I left. And I took a contract in another state. And I had the only other person that I would have been willing to... That's a whole nother story. I probably cut that out. Just forget that whole part. You ever did something that you came from a really genuine place, but then you felt so stupid about it? Like the only thing positive and true in this whole situation may have just been how you felt, but nothing else about it was true. I mean, your actions, what you tried to do, but it's like blowing air. You're meaning to blow up a balloon, but you don't know that someone's put a hole in that balloon. It'll never become what it could have been, what it should have been. It can never happen. Anyway, were I in a relationship or married at the time that the children graduated high school, this is a time that now we're free of little kids. We don't necessarily have to stay home. We can go anywhere. And we can choose to go nowhere. We can just be home with each other, whatever we do. My marriage broke up right after the kids graduated. So I could have turned 18 with them, right? 18, 19 with them and gotten into the party days because I've only been out to the club, on the club scene 6 times in my whole life. 6 times. It's like I don't really have a lust for it. It's like 3 times I went out, or 2 or 3 times as a teenager, 16, 17 years old. Twice after I got married. And then, okay, so that's this. And then me and my sister and the women in my family. Okay, 8. I can add those last 2 times because that was all family. So 8 times in my whole life. I don't really have an appetite for that. But I like to be social, just not in a place where, we were there as some good girls just trying to have good girl fun. But the majority of the people that were there, the guys are there trying to pick up something. And the girls are there trying to get picked up. I'm just saying, I'm at the beginning of another cycle. And I am one of those people. Like, if I meet someone and they present an opportunity to me, or I'm minding my business and I stumble upon an opportunity, like, I will try almost anything. My optimism has taken me a lot of great places. I've had a lot of beautiful experiences. Some that were dangerous and actually proved to be nearly fatal. Okay. I've been through some stuff, but I've also experienced some of the actual romance in the stone type shit. I walk by faith. I step into fate. I could have an entire Meet Joe Black situation where I could meet a man we just met. And if I recognize this person as you are my life partner, you are my soulmate, I would marry him. If he asked me to marry him the same day we met, I would marry him. If the opportunity to travel the world and take a contract like that or take a position like that, I would take it in a heartbeat. Not at the expense or the risk or the expense of others. I would never. But anyway, I know something is about to happen. I have 2 part-time jobs right now. One is a part-time, I mean, it's this day and night, literally. And I get 2 days off. And I just kind of feel like I'm in a chrysalis. I've just been just studying myself and cleaning myself up, cleaning my life up. There are people who try to compete with me. I know that they're competing because they unnecessarily throw shade. And when you have to make someone else appear in a certain light to make yourself look better, like that really is not even a competition or a fight or a game at that point. That's just an attack. When someone else tries to attack my character, knowing that I've not done anything to them, from ex-friends or wannabe friends, frenemies, to family members, people who, if you ask them what our conversation sounds like, even in the midst of their toxicity, trying to trigger, I won't even say you're trying to take me out of my character, because it isn't my character to kick your fucking ass if you're picking on me. I don't feel any shame about that. Just like it's in my character to embrace you and love you and to hold you and to comfort you and to encourage you. That's in my nature also. That's my love for you, but my love for myself is fierce. It's mother fierce with no apologies. I love myself. I know what I've had to come through. I know what I've had to evolve from and understand of myself and of this world to even be here today. So no, nobody gets to take little cheap pot shots at me. But the people here as of late that I've gotten close to, again, after so many years, would just say little shit to try to trigger what they think they remember or knew of me from me in my youth. Like I said, in my youth, I was fire, man. I would fight in a heartbeat. Like I said, never start no shit. But like I just meant to defend. It's justice in the place of injustice. People whose little spirits, including my own, that have been just kind of stampeded and stomped on and trampled over, till everyone is just trying to keep their lights under a hood. There's this one young man when I was like in the 7th or 8th grade, who I met him, and he was just like, he looked Native American and black. I mean, really super red, like red clay, that Oklahoma red clay dirt, just beautiful skin. He looked Native American. He looked exactly like, anyway. it always had a very quiet disposition and demeanor. Not necessarily like quiet doesn't mean weak. Like he had a very silent power. And I could tell in the way that people would handle him, like they saw him as a leader, even though he was quiet. Like they knew he wasn't no punk. They knew that. And I feel like I met him in the 5D. I met him like if in the Egyptian pyramids, outside those pyramids, they show the images, not the images, the depiction of the pharaoh in like 5 or 8 different sizes, and those sizes all represent the dimensions, and that they were conscious of themselves and all those other dimensions. They had connected with themselves. I don't know if it was through Akashic. I don't know how they did it, but they did. And I know I saw him higher than where we are here in the 3D. I know that, and I still see him like that. Like he is just a God to me. He's a God to me. But I see all the aspects of himself, and I saw when we were children that he clearly did not see it in himself. He could see what other people thought of him and what they potentially thought, not even what they thought, what they potentially thought, because he's always been a leader. Always. Why am I talking about him? I think it's just how I perceive. I'm just saying how I perceive people. There was a teacher that kept saving my ass. Every time a couple of other teachers would try to pick on me and start shit, he would come in like a literal guardian angel. Like basically shoe fly. Like picking them off of me like barnacles. Picking them barnacles off of me. Just dusting their asses off. Fearless. I remember that. Why am I talking about that right now? This is a conscious rant. I allow myself to kind of move around spiritually and emotionally, just in everything. I want my life to change for the better. And if I really am at the beginning of a cycle, like I'm happy that I'm shedding all of what I had before. Because I know that I know where I was used at and the purpose. Because you see, that's the thing about karma. We are always constantly sowing it, either in how we treat each other, like what I do to someone, consciously moving with intention in what I say and what I do to, for, and with people, and how I receive these messages, and how I receive lessons, how I receive people, how I receive mistreatment. Also, you sow karma even in being the victim. You can't call yourself a survivor and stick your chest out and say that you survived something or I overcame this and not ever have seen yourself as a victim. What kind of healing you got popping, or you can't be completely honest about what you are and how you got there? Because I definitely am. But how did I meet my nemesis? How did I meet my adversary? I didn't meet them with vengeance in my heart. I wasn't even seeking redemption. I met them with open arms. I didn't go behind their backs talking about them to other people. There was this one, oh my God, okay, so not necessarily go behind her back, but like I knew that she had a friend. Like it's one thing to have a friend, but like that you call someone your best friend, and this person all of a sudden starts working with us, and you don't know that I know that that's who she is, and she all of a sudden wants me to do her hair like I'm a hairdresser and shit. So I let her come over to my house, and she only wanted to do it at my house. Did not want me to come over to her house for shit. I'm like, what the fuck you think I'm gonna do your hair at? You don't want me to come to your house because of your husband and whatever? Not your husband, but all the kids, whatever. I don't want nobody in my house, but since it's just you, I know that if you come, that I can take you, okay? I can take you out if you try to get me, okay? But allowed the sister in my house and did this is some years ago, allowed her in my house and did her hair. And she starts, I'm like, she could legit just want me to do her hair. I'll just do her hair. I'm going to see real quick by what she lets come out of her mouth and what she chooses to talk about, why she's really here, right? And so I started talking to her. Well, I was quiet out doing her hair, and she just started talking. And she kept bringing up things about work, things about the specific person that she doesn't know. I've already peeped game, already know, in my own background, little investigation. Because another sister who is super intelligent, but you're just dumb enough, right? She's just dumb enough that she asked me, are you Tanika so-and-so? By my maiden name that nobody up there knew? I've been married twice. So that's at least 3 names back. And the sister asked me. So I was on to the whole little clique already. I was like, as soon as I would meet one and she went overboard trying to insert herself in my life, I'm like, oh, I know who you're friends with. I know what that means. Okay. And I wasn't wrong about it. But anyway, since she insisted on talking about her fake best friend, well, it was her actual best friend, but she didn't want me to know there was a best friend, and trying to get me to say things about her. Since I know that I have an audience, since I knew I had an audience, I was saying all the shit that she already knew and should have loved her friend enough. I don't mean that she already knew that her best friend, who was also trying to fake friend me, trying to vet me instead of just meeting me as a woman. You doing some old Inspector Gadget shit. So trying to send Joe, that's some dirty shit. You don't send nobody to nobody else's house. And there is no friend that I love enough that I'm going to send myself and insert myself into someone else. Like, this is my life force. In your home, this is where, when you are thriving and you're happy and this is where you celebrate with family. When you're going through, this is where you come together with your family, with your loved ones. In your most vulnerable state, when you're talking to God, it's in some room in your home. Most of the time, you know what I mean? And someone come up in my house with another motive, I was all over that shit. And I didn't know that I was that type of faith that was also like heavily intuition. Intuitively, I knew that she was dirty as hell. And so instead of me talking about the things that she maybe expected me to talk about and say, you maybe want me to show you that there's some type of envy there when I had none. I was talking about what mattered the most. How come she hadn't checked if she knew about it, and she had to know about it, because I'm nobody. I'm new to the set, right? So I don't know why this sister's not valuing herself above keeping a man, letting a man almost live with her, who ain't paying no rent, who ain't, he's not necessarily trying to have sex with her anymore, just because she's holding the fork down and she's not giving it to him. She was just moving very irresponsibly. And she had little boys. And men, or any partner, male or female, who is hypersexual to the point that they cannot be faithful to anyone, why would you invite such a spirit and such a person to commingle with young children that you are raising? Because this woman was taking care of nephew and grandkids and kids still. She had little ones in her house. And I was just like, she's too good for that gentleman and his bullshit. The children have been through enough. They don't have any sense of stability other than with her. I literally spoke of this woman like she was my best friend, and how disappointed in her decisions that I was, because I knew I was talking to her true best friend. Run and tell that shit. So when I say I'm not innocent, I'm not. That definitely had repercussions, because she goes back and she tells, she told me this, and this, and that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted you to confront me, but no, she tried to play God with my career instead of acknowledging the truth in what I was saying. And she could never come out and just approach me and confront me, because she would have to admit that she and her And it's the sacrilegious ass people, child. These people that go to church and call themselves evangelists. You hear me? You would have to admit your own deception to confront me on some shit. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. But I love all of what I am, all of who I am. I don't do anything to hurt anybody, and I never have. I never have. I'm witty. I'm funny. I'm serious when I need to be. I'm protective. I'm loving. I'm fun-loving. And a hopeful, hopeless, hopeful, romantic. I've not been romanced, but I'm romantic, and I like romantic shit. It's a conscious rant. Let me go in the house because I've been sitting in this car and it's getting colder. I'm certain that it was supposed to be 30. When I pulled up, I think it was like 36 or 34 degrees. What was I getting ready to tell you?